everybody, welcome back to Cards by the Hill. My name is Jane Hill. So this is going to be another YouTube button, custom YouTube button for the milestone of 30,000 views. Okay, now for this we're going to use another stamp pad lid. These are from Dovecraft. If your ink pad's dried up, perfect use for these. If you don't want to use the ink stamp pad lids, there will be other options when I make some more of these videos after these ink pad ones. So don't panic. Okay, so that has been sprayed. Now, considering what happened with the first one, if you haven't got car primer, I recommend spraying it first with the car spray, dabbing gesso on with a sponge, okay, small sponge, then rubbing that down slightly with some wet and dry, very light grade sandpaper, and then add another 2 coats of car spray, and it will come out exactly like this, with no streaks, no brush marks, no nothing. Okay, so that's the button. Now to make the shadow box frame, I'm using these pieces of card that you get when you have a tumble dryer delivered or a fridge freezer delivered, any electrical appliance like that. They come with these to hold them in place until you situate them, then remove them, and the appliance is ready to go. So I've kept all these from when we've had them delivered to us, which was a good job because I need 2 to make the shadow box. So these have been cut down to, let me tell you, 7.5 inches. Okay, and they're all the same width, which is about 2.5 across. You can just use very thick card and of course layer it up, because all this is pressed pulp, which is cardboard layers squashed together. So you could do that if you haven't got these. And then what we're going to do is make a top and bottom seal using some more plain card. Now this is quite thick. I don't know where I got it or what it is, because it never had a label. I think I probably got it off eBay. Make sure you see how wide they need to be apart first. So I've got a frame that's 6 inches by 8 inches. Okay, so it's going to go over the top of the glass. You can use acetate if you haven't got glass. This is a good one for any frames that you've got the glass is broken. The acetate is Binding Covers office supplies, and that's from officerange.com. You get such a lot in there, and they're really clear. And I found this after I was making the last one, so I couldn't use it. But this is normal acetate. Let's just show you. So this is normal acetate, and this is the Binding Covers. You can see the difference and how clear this one is compared to that one. That's got a little bit of a mist going on. Let's see if I can find something here. There we go. And then you've got the clear one, which is the binding covers. They look like glass, to be honest. Alright, so all that's sorted. Now the glass is going to sit on top of the card like that. And then the frame goes on top. All the sides will be covered and you've got your shadow box. Okay, so first of all, let's see how far apart they need to be. We've got to make the cardboard top and bottom. So let's measure the glass itself. 5 inches. Okay. So we want 5 inches across of card. And I'm probably going to layer it twice, just to be on the safe side. Make it a little bit thicker. And the height is going to be 1 3/4 inches. It would have to be different, wouldn't it? Okay. Now I know you can get dies that make shadow boxes, and you can make them out of paper, you can make them out of cardboard, but I thought this was a nice idea to use up these pieces that I've got and give you another idea of how to make them. So that's going to be situated at the top there, and then of course we've got to do it at the bottom, and then we've got to place a piece inside to give it more support inside. Okay, so let me get all that done and then I'll come back. I'm using Cosmic Shimmer Glue. Right, so here we are now back with the frame. So I've been using the Craft Perfect speciality paper by Tonic, which is called English Lace. Okay, and I've covered the frame all the way round. As you can see, it's completely covered. I will say that once you get the sides on, the top and bottom are a little bit on the tricky side. So I made those out of thinner cardboard than the rest. All right. I've added a piece of card to the back, so you don't see any of that going on. And I'll probably add a piece of the lace to the top. Let me find a piece. Probably add a piece of lace to the top to cover that up, and the bottom. You don't need to, because obviously it's going on the wall and you won't see it anyway. Then the frame can sit nicely on. It's quite snug, and once it's glued on with hot glue, there will be no gaps at all, so that's fine. We've got to move on to the acetate now, and this is the clear binding covers from officerange.com. You get a lot in a pack. This is a pack of 100. It really is very, very clear. like glass. You probably can't see that because of the mess on the island at the moment. But once this has a good clean, get all the bits off it, it will look like glass. And then we're going to add the writing to it, which I've got to print out on the Cricut. So we'll get that done. And we've got to put the button in. Now, the button on this one is going to fit just about there. But I'm not going to glue this through with screws this time because it is quite a thick frame. So I'm going to find two little bits to put on the back. Show you what I mean. But for example, you know, a lid or something like that. Just going to put on the inside, just so it comes out a bit further than the actual button itself. Going to glue it in and then glue that to the inside of the frame. Don't forget, if you use hot glue, it might crack, so just be wary of that. So I've got to do that, and I've got to add a triangle on here, which will probably be white, but I'm not sure because I'm doing the letters in black vinyl on the Cricut, so I might put a black button on there. Okay, so we'll move on to the letters. What I'll do is wipe over my board because it's a lot of paper and bits and pieces laying about, and it's getting very dusty and dirty, so that needs a clean off. And then we can proceed with the letters. Okay, so let's just do the cardboard to cover the top and the bottom. So I have to say, it's not been a project without its faults, unfortunately. And I have ended up using quite a lot of card and wasted a lot of paper. So just bear in mind, in all fairness, the first one I did was like a prototype, just to see whether it would work. And then of course I went to do the final frame, and the paper completely tore, so that ended up all going in the bin and coming back off. So that was a complete waste. And that was a really, really pretty paper. That was like an Art Deco gold paper, which was again from Tonic. But obviously it tore. This one is like a very light fabric. I don't know whether it has got fabric in it, but it feels like a fabric paper. Right, so this is going to be one end. Yeah, so if you do it, just pick your paper carefully, because some of them really don't work for this sort of idea. The second one I used was another craft paper by Tonic, and that one tore as well. That was this one, but it's got like a sheen on it and it was coming off everywhere. I mean, you really couldn't get away from it. It was all over the place. It was all over the island. It was just everywhere. Right, now I'm just wondering if I do these end pieces, is the frame still going to fit on? And I don't think it will. No, that's just been a waste. So I don't know what I might have to do. Put the frame on. And then add it so it leaves that little bit of space there for the frame to fit on. So I'm going to have to mark it from where it's got to go on. Don't really like these open bits here. So I think I might just put cardboard. And there again, you see, just wasted another piece of card. More paper. It depends how much you want to put into these certificates, you know. I mean, you could also make a certificate like this for a present for somebody. They've just passed a graduation, or they've been studying for something. You wanted to make them a gift. These are a nice idea. Doesn't have to be just for YouTube. I just used YouTube as the idea. So that's what I'm talking about, just to finish it off like that. But it doesn't cover up an awful lot. Let's make sure this can still fit. Yeah, might have to glue it on with the frame on, I think. It's in the right place. You know, the back's not going to be seen anyway. It's going to be hanging on the wall, so it's only for you, really, that you just tidy up the back and the top and bottom. Right, so we use those two for the top and bottom. And then we're going to move on to the acetate. And I think I'm going to change the lettering to gold instead. And we'll put a gold triangle on the button. So the acetate is going to go on like that. And that's going to be glued. Got to give it a good clean. Then we can put the glass, and then we can put the frame. I think the next award will be a lot easier than this one. I've got something in mind that won't be as complicated or difficult or time consuming. Just a bit worried about adding those, and then the glass hasn't got any room. That's the acetate, that's the glass, goes the frame. Yeah, I think they have to be glued on while everything's put together, so they'll end up in the right place. Right, let's turn our attention to the letters. As I said, they've got to be printed from the Cricut. Let's just give this acetate a clean. There we go. So that with the glass. So that's that. Let's clean the glass off as well. Right, so for this we're going to need our transfer tape. I've got to go and get the iPad, I've left it downstairs. We need the Cricut. Let's just position the button so we know how much space we've got. But we need to get this in. So ideally I want to put something behind it and then attach it to the box. They're probably too small. Yeah. Two together. That could work. So I'll glue those together and then to the back of the button, and then that can go in. Inside the Cricut Joy app, I've got something ready here which says congratulations, Cards by the Hill, 30,000 plus views. So that's what we're gonna print off. Material, removable, make it, and we're going to use the gold, so it's just got to connect to the Joy. There it goes. Okay, Load Smart material, I'm going to use the gold. Okay, so here it is. Don't know if you can see that. There's a scratch across the G there, going up across congratulations. There's a couple of marks on there, and I've lost the dot to the exclamation mark. So that wasn't very good, so we'll do that again. I won't put you through it. I'll come back when it's done. Alright, so there's the play button with the gold arrow on it. There's the reprint. Again, it's taken the dot from my eye, from my exclamation mark. So I would either not use it or put a gold dot on myself when I add it to these acetate. So that's got to be transferred now using transfer tape. I don't think it's the easiest thing in the world to use. And of course you waste a hell of a lot of vinyl when you do these, which I don't think is really cost effective. You know, you can't put it back in because the machine tells you that the piece is not big enough. So unless you're going to measure out every single piece you use, and then put it through, it could be quite an expensive machine, to be honest. I know some people absolutely love the Cricut and swear by it. I like it, it's a good machine, but as I say, to be cost effective, I'm not so sure. I've lost the dot to the I as well. So we're going to lose the exclamation mark, and I'll put a dot on myself with a gold Sharpie on the I. And of course then you need transfer tape to be able to transfer it to your project, which again, another expense. If you remember, I bought it as a bundle. Let's try and save a little bit. And I got what was included in the pack, basically. I cannot find the card to scrape it on, scrape over it, so it picks it up better. Have no idea where that went. I don't even know whether I actually got one in the box. I don't think I did, but it's a bit late now to tell them I haven't got it. So yeah, just you know, be wary of some of these machines, because I don't think the Cricut is very cost effective if you're looking for a machine that does letters. I did have the island is such a mess, that's the trouble. Again, that I can't find nothing. I found the weeder at least. Let's try this. Don't like the way it picks up some letters, won't pick up the rest. And that is practically no different to the tool they give you. Right, acetate. Now let's check where we're going with the acetate, because we want to make sure it doesn't cover the button. So we're looking to start about there. Like that. And that's now rubbish, of course. I haven't got a dot on the I, so I've got a gold Sharpie. Good tip for if it takes away any of your dots or anything. I'm just going to put an I above it there. There we go. You'd think that was vinyl. Right, then we've got Cards by the Hill, 30,000 views. Sorry, 30 plus. 30,000 plus views. These eyes seem to be a real issue. It either doesn't want to let it go, or you lose the dot. Maybe I've got a defective machine, I don't know. But yeah, so now I've got to replace all the vinyl I've used. The transfer tape. That's another thing, my E's always seem to cut in half. Now what is that about? Right, next piece. That fit on there? Where is it? Yes. Now I know a little tip here, I've got a little tip for you. To get the transfer tape to let go, you just turn a corner and pretty much scrape at it with your nail and it will come off. Okay. Cards by the Hill. Gold dot for the eye again. $30,000 plus. And lastly, views. Another eye. Oh, we've got a capital one this time, so that's all right. There we go. Right, so finally that's all done. So it can now sit on the box. Hot glue it down the sides, which is going to be a little bit tricky. And then our glass on top. You don't have to have the glass if you don't want to, if you think it's a bit risky. Just do the acetate. Okay, so I'm going to glue that off screen, come back and show you because I don't want it going horribly wrong. Okay, so I think we're finally there. I've put the acetate on the back inside the box and put the button on top of that because the acetate was causing too many problems against the glass. So then I've put the glass on top. Just some glue threads there, and then I've glued the frame on. Okay, then on the back we're going to add a picture hanger. I've pinched this from another frame that wasn't being used, so let's just find the center at the back there. We've got 13 centimeters, so we're looking about there, between 6 and 7. So I'm going to just mark that. Let's just mark it with white there. The glue sticks run out. There we go. So we've got a fixing on the back. And all that's left to do is just cover the top and the bottom as I planned. And it's finished. Okay, so there it is finished. At last. I hope you've all enjoyed the video. Try and make one yourself. Even if you haven't got these pieces, you can just create it out of cardboard. All you need to do is have the bend in the middle and same width either side, and you can create your own one. But if you have got them, then use them up. Okay, so like I do in all my videos, I want to thank you for your likes. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It means so much to me, keeps me going. Thank you for all your comments. I love seeing your comments and I reply almost straight away, so please do send your comments in, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.